Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 60-second part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot. Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 62, Rescue Exam. All 99 students, due to the fact the 100th was an imposter, and wasn't there, had gathered for the explanation of the next stage of the exam. They looked at Mara, who looked exhausted again once he was presenting. The high from finding out about Toga wore off. "Alright, it's time for the next stage of the exam," he said with a yawn. Looked towards the screens. The screen showed the images of the testing grounds and suddenly it exploded. Everyone watched in shock. "It looks like Kamino," said Tenya. Izuku's eyes widened as that respond. That was when they heard several gasps from the other students. And they soon saw why. There were injured people in the wreckage. However, thankfully this was cleared up very quickly. "Don't worry, they're only actors from the Help Us Company or HUC. Their job is to act like bystanders during such tests and training simulations," said Mara. This made everyone in the room relax despite the appearances. "You know, I never even thought of that," said Ojiro. "It would make sense, that would be a job," said Tsuyu. The other ended up agreeing. "The test is simple. A terrorist group has bombed insert city name here," said Mara. "You will all have a set amount of points, and if you make a mistake, the points will be taken away. If you lose a certain amount of points, you will fail. The bystanders will also be the B judges." All of the students' sweat dropped at the laziness of the name. The exam will end once all bystanders are rescued," said Mara. "We will let you strategize and relax, and when it's ready we'll open it back up." "I already have ideas," said Katsuki. "Wait, what?" asked Izuku. "I don't want to say them until the test begins," said Katsuki. Izuku was confused but quickly figured out her plan. It was kind of obvious what it was. "Okay," said Izuku. And soon enough the room once again opened up. "How much money did this even cost?" asked Izuku with a sweat drop as it opened up. "Who knows?" said Achiko. And soon enough the exam started. "All right," called out Katsuki, taking charge. "We're going to split up into teams. Artemis will find out where the hospital is and act as a mission control. The rest of will split up into teams." "What? Why?" complained Mineta. "It makes sense," agreed Izuku. "This way I can coordinate with everyone." "You're right," said Momo. They quickly spread out into teams with different purposes while Izuku quickly found the hospital they set up. "Hey Deku, you should tell them that you have telepathy so they can't take away points from you," pointed out Katsuki. "Oh yeah, they might take away points if I just stare into space a lot," thought Izuku. "I need to point out that one aspect of my quirk is replay with certain people. So if it looks like I'm just staring into space, I'm actually talking to my partners who are all performing rescue," explained Izuku. Izuku started to do first aid, and giving comfort. Of course, for the first part of his, every once in a while one of his partners would telepathically call hi, where the hospital zone was. Thankfully it wasn't much. He didn't have to respond too often, to be honest, after that, as he was mostly being used as a conduit so someone could get Achiko to a certain place, as she was one of the most useful in the situation thanks to the destroyed buildings. With Shoto and Katsuki also being useful. Tenya was also good for transportation in this case as well. She was very gentle with the injured victims. Things seemed to be fine for several minutes. That was when there was an explosion. One of the walls was blown away from the stadium. Those that had to deal with Toga were worried. However, once the dust cleared they could see it was part of the exam. While most of the villains that showed up were wearing the same thing, the leader wasn't it. It was a hero known as Gang Orca, a hero whose quirk made him very Orca-like, including many abilities associated with them. He was also a top 10 hero, meaning he was very powerful. Izuku knew right away that he had to figure out what to do. Shindo stopped and attacked to Izuku, who was carrying one of the victims. "Get the civilians to safety," he told him. "I'll handle it." Izuku nodded, who decided to escort them to safety then in the fight. Deku, Icy Hot and Tsu are going to join. Fought Katsuki in telepathy. "Did you really call Tsu but her chosen nickname and not me?" asked Shoto. "Fucking give me a nickname you want, and I'll use it," muttered Katsuki. "Now's not the time for this," mentally sighed Tsuyu. "She's right, we need to make sure everyone is safe, even if it's just an exam," pointed out Tenya. Izuku began to evacuate the victims while other students joined the fighting. It included Tokoyami and Kirishima. "Red Riot," called out Katsuki. "Got it," said Kirishima. He began to fight some of the villains. "Now!" yelled Katsuki. She took out her wand and unleashed an explosion. Kirishima mostly dodged, but thanks to being able to stand the explosions he didn't need to all the way. "You okay?" asked Katsuki. "Find you can't damage me," said Kirishima. Thankfully it was loud enough to be heard by a nearby villain. "If you try to take points away from those two, don't, it's a case of compatible quirks," said the villain to an extra set of judges. However, Shoto knew someone had to take down the big villain. She summoned her wand. That was when there was a gust of wind. Shoto looked up and saw Anesa floating above her. That was when she realized something. "Hey!" she called out. He looked down at her and came down. "I have a plan to team up," said Shoto. Anesa then realized there would be a few ways to do it. "Let's do it!" he yelled. The two looked at Gang Orca, who was able to shrug off an attack from Shindo earlier, meaning it would take quite a bit to beat him. And hopefully what they had planned would hold him off until the exam ended. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 63. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.